Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Adjudicator, Timekeeper, my beloved opponent. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning everyone. My name is Rizka Karima from Senior High School, one of Singkil Utara as the first speaker of proposition team. So, our motion today is defunding the police. Demands for defund the police echoed in the protests that swept the United States. And apparently, this demand has very broad support from civil society to politicians. In fact, this demand has long been voiced by many activists. However, these demands have only found momentum and resonated since denounced the protests, the murder of an African American, George Floyd, by police in Minneapolis, United States. What does defund the police mean? Okay, defund the police literally means to stop funding the police. This is a demand from a number of civil society organizations in the United States. In a sense, they want that the public budget that is allocated to the police and prisons is reduced. Rather, the budget is diverted to strengthen other public securities. For them, the state budget for public security is better spent on housing, public health, education, job creation, and other vital programs than on the budget for the police and law enforcement. They believe that a larger social budget for empowering citizens will reduce the conditions that allow crimes such as poverty, unemployment, mental illness, and homelessness. On the other hand, this demand can also be a kind of pressure on the police to reform itself, so that it truly becomes a public service apparatus, no longer acting arbitrarily on behalf of law enforcement, as in the George Floyd murder case. However, the substance or target of these demands varies. Some just demand a reduction or a cut, while others want a complete stop. The Washington Post, which since 2015 has been collecting data on police fatality shootings, shows that US police kill nearly 1,000 people a year. In 2019, the number reached 1,004 people. Of course, the numbers are terrible. Compared with England, in each year, British police carry out fatal shooting in the range of 3 to 6 cases per year. Meanwhile, in Scandinavian countries, such as Denmark, Iceland, Switzerland, there are almost no cases of fatal shooting every year. Ironically, based on data from the Treatment Advocacy Center, 1 in 4 people killed by the police experience severe mental illness. Even more ironically, the poor and minority groups are the most vulnerable to becoming victims of police violence. The number of shootings results in twice as many blacks as whites. How much is the US police budget today? Well, in the last 4 decades, the police budget in the US has tripled. Now, it has reached 115 billion US dollars. The problem is, this fantastic budget is not comparable to spending on other sectors. In Atlanta, for example, 13% of the operating budget goes to the police, while only 3% goes to the community development and park maintenance. However, a budget of that size is not as big as the work of the police in solving cases. In 2019, Minneapolis police resolved only 56% of homicides in Baltimore. In the same year, 30% homicide cases, only 32% were complete. Ironically, in investigating this crime, the US police are often racially biased. A New York Daily News report shows that police solve 86% of homicide cases whose victims are white, but only 45% for black victims, and then 56% for Hispanic victims. If the police were abolished, would crime increase? The argument has a point. In countries with better affluence and relatively equal societies such as Switzerland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and New Zealand, crime rates are very low. Not deletion, but rearranging. Many argue defund the police doesn't mean eliminating the police, but reorganizing. It's just that. About rearranging this, there are many versions, such as eliminating knock-knock warrants, then removing military style and equipment from the police. Others argue that the use of the police is only for serious crime cases. However, there are also activist groups that encourage further discussion. For example, they invite us to reimagine a more democratic and humanist concept of public security. So, based on the arguments that I have given about, I am totally agree about this our motion today that defunding the police. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.